What's up? What's going on? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Let's get down to the situation, but please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, y'all. So let's get into this whole situation. We got some things to talk about. We got to talk about Miss Kenya Moore. And, first we're going to start off with her talking about her soon-to-be ex-husband, Marc Daly, on the Tamron Hall show. And one thing she said that was very important, she goes, as I said before, I felt like my voice was stifled a lot because I felt like I had to be a certain kind of wife to get along with him and his personality. Lord, that tells you that Kenya Moore was most likely miserable throughout the whole time of their marriage, and this is why it didn't even really last 2 years. So, and we seen it on the show. We saw his behavior. We saw what he did. Allegedly he was cheating, allegedly all this other stuff. But the really sad part about the whole situation is to find out that Marc Daly don't even talk to his daughter, don't see his daughter. Okay, he talks to her on the phone, but he hasn't physically seen her. Marc Daly put on this big show. He put on this big thing. Oh, Kenya Moore, you drive too fast. Kenya Moore, you shouldn't have my daughter in the water like that. Kenya Moore, you shouldn't have my daughter competitive. Kenya Moore, you shouldn't dress my daughter like that. You shouldn't do her hair like that. All types of things. You're driving too fast. You shouldn't have a swimming pool because of the baby. But baby, he ain't even in the picture. He ain't even around. He was calling all these shots like he was going to be a father to baby Brooklyn, and he ain't, and he isn't. That's crazy to me. So crazy. But in any event, Kenya Moore basically talks about the first time that she appeared on the Tamron Hall show, and it wasn't a whole good experience. It looked nice, but Tamron Hall, she basically says that she went back and she looked at the clips, and she seen that Kenya Moore was given telltale signs because 3 days after the interview, that's when it was announced that Kenya Moore and Marc Daly are separating and possibly getting a divorce. And so Tamron Hall, she had to go back and look at the clips with her people and say, oh my God, she was giving us telltale signs. And he wasn't supporting her because Marc Daly was acting like he was there for the IVF and he was helping her. And Kenya put her head down because that wasn't true. So Kenya Moore was suffering in silence just like Cynthia Bailey was as well. But now she's using her voice. She's using it to speak. I don't know if Marc Daly's going to come out and say anything about what Kenya Moore has been saying because he don't like to be talked about in a negative light, okay? So there's a whole lot going on. And Kenya Moore says, please, I beg you, anybody. I think she even reached out to Keke Palmer, basically saying, please get a prenup. Please get a prenup. Please get a prenup. Please, please get a prenup. Because right now she can't separate from, Marc out of her life, as far as name and the divorce, because he is not signing on the dotted line. He wants some property. He wants something from Kenya Moore. At first it was like he wants the house. Then it says he doesn't want any money. Then it says he wants spousal support. And basically, allegedly, when it comes to Marc Daly, he's just making the situation more difficult and more difficult and more difficult. Basically, still having power and still having control. A true narcissist. I'm going to have control. I'm going to have power over you. And then I'm going to make you hurt at the same time because I know you have issues with being raised in your childhood. So therefore, I'm going to abandon, his daughter, which Kenya Moore was abandoned, and that really hurt her. So he would do anything to hurt this woman, which is very, very sad and depraved. I mean, like somebody to do all this to, the mother of your child. I know Marc Daly has more children, but he has to see how wonderful baby Brooklyn is living, how she's smart, how she's intelligent, how she talks, how she walks, how she goes to school. You can tell that she is basically being raised correctly, and she's going to be a brilliant young lady, and she's growing up in the best surroundings possible. But one thing is for sure, most likely she's asking for a daddy, but she probably starts to forget daddy. But in any event, as you guys know, when Kenya Moore was on the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, she was having a phone call with Marc Daly, and she was basically letting it out there a little bit that Marc hasn't been seeing baby Brooklyn. And she also let it out when she was talking to Sanya on the Real Housewives of Atlanta last season about Marc Daly being absent in her daughter's life. This is something that she's been giving breadcrumbs to people, and she even paid for a trip to Jamaica for her, Marc Daly, and their daughter to basically bond and be together. Not that she wanted to be with Marc Daly, but she just wanted for her daughter to have a normal childhood, a normal life, and have the father of her daughter in her life. And he remains absent, which is very sad. But in any event, moving on from that situation, we learned allegedly from Love B. Scott that when it comes to Miss Kenya Moore, allegedly Moneta Shaw allegedly is hooking Kenya Moore up with a Caucasian male. She's hooking her up with a white male. I guess there's no more rich Africans in, Atlanta, because that's what, Portia and Shamia and all the rest of the girls have been talking about in the past. Nene got her African too, baby. He ain't as rich. But it seems like Moneta was like, I got this rich white man and I'm going to hook you up with a rich white man. Child, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. It's a whole crazy situation with that. So we shall see if that's actually going to play out on the show. It is alleged that when it comes to Kenya Moore and her storyline, there are a few blogs that are reporting that Kenya Moore and Bravo and, True Original Entertainment basically wants a storyline of Kenya Moore dating. They don't want her to be single anymore, okay? So you guys let me know what you think about this whole situation, okay? Let's get into this whole situation when it comes to Taraji P, okay? A lot of people are kind of disappointed in her because she recently went out there to go see Russell Simmons. And you guys know that he's not in the United States because there's a lot of cases, pending, and a lot of women are accusing him of doing some things that are not so great and also doing things against their will. But in any event, social media recently was upset because it was like, why is Taraji with Russell Simmons? Why is she over there in that country with him? I think he's in Bali, I'm not sure, but in any event, it made people look at Taraji a certain way. But it seems like Taraji is not worried because she's the one that posted to social media. She posted the picture and she's smiling, child. So y'all tell me what y'all think about this whole situation. There's a whole lot of people she could have went to go visit, but she chose to visit him, y'all. So Foxy Brown, she took to her social media account and she basically posted that, she's calling Keith Murray, a cussy and a trustee, basically saying he's lying and he is not telling the truth. And she also issued a idle threat towards Keith Murray. Lord, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening, but it's just only the 1st, the 11th, 2023 is only Wednesday. And, so much is popping off on social media. I don't know how this year gonna go, child. Let's talk about this whole situation when it comes to Fallon Pina from The Real Housewives of Atlanta, former cast member, no longer on the show. She posted early this morning to her Instagram account about 7 o'clock this morning or 6 o'clock this morning, basically to let the world know that, she's in mourning because she suffered a loss and she was pregnant, but the baby didn't make it, so therefore the baby departed from this earth and she was in the hospital, and she wanted the people to know what was going on and things of that nature. So we send our prayers and our condolences out to Fallon that she heals from this situation, also her partner and also her children, because this is devastating all the way around. So basically, Keith Murray did not have to tell this story, but he felt the need to tell this story. And it's his life. He lived it, but, he's not thinking about her. He's not thinking how it's coming off. I just really hope that all the OGs from back in the day stop doing things that make you not look like you are OG. It just seems like, code of silence. Where's the silence? There ain't no silence out here in these streets. When the clout is flying, people will run your business and tell your business when it's supposed to be between you and that person. That was a moment in history that you spent together. It wasn't for the world to know, but we don't even know if it's true because Foxy Brown responded and she felt a certain type of way. And let's talk about this whole situation when it comes to Keith Murray and Foxy Brown. They used to date and things of that nature, but it seems like when it comes to Keith Murray, he recently did an interview and he wanted to let everybody know that him and Foxy Brown was together, and the things that they did together, which is none of our business, which we should not know. And I pray to God that none of my exes ever get on social media and described our encounters, because it's very tasteless, point blank, period.
Intimate friends, right? So in LA, at the House of Blues, I'm with Def Squad. We rock the house, bring it down. Yo, the rafters is done. After the show, this is around the time when she was going with Corrupt. I don't know if they was married or not. So after the show, because I've seen her in Brooklyn too, and sometimes, and I was dealing with her. I was trying to, date her, be a boyfriend, girlfriend. And then Wendy Williams on the radio was like celebrity sightings. They seen us coming out of a hotel. And then Eric Sermon was like, yo, she got you, Keith. Wendy got you. They talk about you and Bobby. I was like, all right, boss, I don't care. It's cool. I'm going to be spotted. But after the show, we rocked hardcore, went into the hotel, and she gave me hardcore. You know what I'm saying? Hardcore. And then I ate up, but I never. And then she was with Corrupt at that time. So we was coming out of the hotel.